Hey, you're listening to The Truth in Her podcast with Madeline
and Mary. From funny jokes to thought-provoking conversations, we are two friends here to share our laughs, insights, and everything in between.
So settle in wherever you might be and get ready to hang out with The Truth in Her family.
It's so good to be back. We have a very special announcement, and it's kind of obvious by what you're looking at, but we have a renovation.
Dun, 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 dun.
Surprise, surprise. So I hope you guys like it.
Whole
it
new
was a
setup.
lot of work.
A lot of work.
But it looks so much better.
It's so much better. Tell us what you guys think too, because
yeah.
we had a vision, we put it out there, and we created it.
We did.
And
it looks really
we're
nice.
pretty happy with it.
Yeah. I'm very happy with it.
Very.
But today we're going to be kind of talking about self-improvement and toxic positivity and all that kind of stuff.
How it can really go sour, you know.
And if you're not familiar, it's basically where people can get so caught up with improving themselves and staying positive and all this stuff that they kind of forget.
It's like self-sabotage.
Yeah. So they're kind of doing it out of a guilty space or
give me 1 second. You hear all the drums?
Yep, you're right.
That's my dad jamming out downstairs.
Okay.
Let me call him.
Okay.
That's hilarious. He'll be able to, because he's right on his phone.
What?
Hi, y'all. Can you just make sure you turn your music down? Daddy? He turns it up.
That was really funny.
You might still be able to hear it a little bit, but
it'll be fine.
It's just the sounds of life.
Loud enough.
It's kind of good music anyways, so.
Yeah. But anyways.
Toxic positivity, how we can get really focused on what we should be doing right. And
we've been there before.
This idea of a perfect human being that we have to be.
Yep.
Yeah, we've totally, I wonder, we definitely feed off each other in ways that, it's positive, in ways that we should be winning in life, but in a positive way.
Yeah.
And I think we've both had our own moments, not simultaneous, where we're totally, we're realizing, oh, shoot, I'm really focused on something that's not me.
Yeah. It kind of came to a point where I was just I'm focusing more on what I feel like I should be doing.
Yep.
And I'm realizing that it's coming out of a place of guilt and lack rather than a feeling of, oh, I want to do this, oh, I love to do this. And so I kind of had to find the difference between what do I love to do and what do I feel like I have to do to be this person for everybody else.
Yeah, exactly.
And instead of viewing myself as, oh, I need to be this idealized person in order to be a perfect person.
Right.
Instead just being you know what, there is no right way to do everything, I don't need to kill myself trying to be this fake person that doesn't even exist. I can just be me and accept me as I am.
Yep.
And, it's a little exhausting to have to always,
Oh, it's so exhausting.
even just to be positive in every little second. Of course you want to, I believe in the power of positivity completely, but there comes a point where, if you're pushing through that in really hard times, it's just gonna hurt you.
It's fake. It's superficial,
Yeah.
I totally agree. That should word is,
and it can be
so
stressful.
It's so stressful.
Yeah.
I've been in the same place. I get this idea of a perfect human being that I need to be, and there's a right formula that I need to follow. Gym at this time, this kind of meal at this time, wake up at this time.
Oh my gosh.
And even online we get those pre-packaged lifestyles.
I was just gonna say
that
online.
we need to be following this.
Yeah.
And there's so much positivity. So much of online is focused on the incline in life.
Yeah.
It's never focused on the decline.
Yeah.
And the rest and the recovery. And
you're just constantly watching these people. Okay,
that
5 a.m.
perfect.
Eat healthy meals, go to the gym.
Next thing you
do
know,
this.
you're chasing that yourself,
and you think that that's what you should be. So you're just
this robot of a human that is not even like, you can't even obtain that.
Yeah,
you can't obtain that lifestyle.
At least not every single day.
No, exactly.
Like, you know, you can be that person that's super outgoing, you know, goes and does what you gotta do. But
exactly.
To think that it's normal just to be a robot and do that every single day.
And say the right thing all the time.
Yeah.
There's no way.
And eat the right meal every day.
Yeah.
Like, no. And I've seen videos on social media where people know this and then they post a video and they're like, oh, the realistic day in the life. And they're like eating cereal in their hoodie and like.
It's like, it's not
watching
even.
Netflix in their bed. And like a random Tuesday afternoon. And it's just like.
It's so much better to watch.
It's like, oh, thank goodness.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so relaxing.
Not the only one.
It's relaxing to connect those ways.
It's so much more connecting.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, and I think there's a good balance between the two because sometimes I do see the good videos and I'm like, oh, I really, you know, want to make that healthy meal. I want to, you know, I got to get back onto this.
There are times when you know, we realize, oh, I didn't do that quite well, or I'm kind of been in a slump for the past couple days. And that moment right there when we realize we've done something that we want to change, that's key. We have two decisions to make. We have two paths to go on. And that's either choose doing better out of the fact that we did bad, which then means guilt or shame, or choosing better out of the fact that we deserve better.
Or that we want to do better.
Yeah, exactly. And
out of love.
Doing better would make us feel happier. Yeah. Not because it's what we should do.
Like true motivation. Like, ooh, yeah, let's go do this. Like, I'm so excited.
That actually would feel like that would give me so much energy. Yeah. And I'm going to feel so alive afterwards. I'm going to do it.
So true.
You know?
Instead of being like, oh my gosh, like I haven't done this in so long. Like I have to do this again. Like, right. Or like, ooh, that person is doing so much better than me online. And
that
I gotta go be doing that too. I gotta be doing that too.
That one gets me a lot. Where I see other people and I'm like, oh man, comparison's really bad. Comparison's
especially
so
online.
Bad.
Online.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Don't even get me started.
So bad.
Comparison is truly the thief of joy.
You're right.
That's what they say.
You're so right, Mare.
And it's true. Every time I find myself comparing, it just is just a snowball.
Yep. It turns into a snowball of like seeing everything you've done bad, nitpicking your life, nitpicking your personality.
I'm not good enough. I'm not doing this good enough. I'm not there yet.
Oh, and it's like a guilt loop.
Yeah.
I've gotten in guilt loops, like major, like holes.
Ooh,
and then you burn out like that, and it's like you have no energy for anything.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I just have to remind myself, like those videos on social media, like even after us doing social media, you just know like those are little clips. Placed at the perfect time.
Right.
At the perfect angle.
Yeah.
And took in seconds, just a second clip. One after the other, make it look all pretty. Like, this is not real life. It's an aesthetic. And, you know, it does do good. It does motivate people, and it's fun to be around. But when you get too much in your head and you start comparing a little too much, and it starts becoming like a guilty thing, like, oh, I should be doing that too, so I'm going to go do that. Instead of being like, oh, I feel inspired.
Yep. It should come from inspiration. Yeah. It needs to come from a place that's infinite. And something like that is love. Guilt and shame is not infinite.
No.
It will dry out.
No.
And it will just cause you to die too.
Yeah. And like you said, like, it gets you into a place where you start to feel like there is a perfect way to do everything.
Yeah.
And there isn't.
Yeah, there isn't.
Like, there's never a perfect way.
I forget where I heard it like years ago, and I say it all the time, but people are like snowflakes. And like this person's winning is different than another person's winning. You know what I mean? And to watch all these different people winning at the things they do is amazing. To watch all these different personalities and all these different, you know, achievements that I've seen people do. It fills my heart and be like, wow, I can really do anything. And like, I can make my own path. Yeah. It's Madeline's path. Yeah. You know what I mean? And there's not like a right way to do something.
No, yeah. And there's not a right way to say something.
Yep.
Or go about things. And, you know, it really has to come out of that place of love.
It really has to. For yourself. And then the love that you feel from God too. It has to come from love.
It sure does.
Because if you're doing it the other way, it's not going to last. Sorry, I'm just moving my mic real quick. I feel like it's a little close to me.
I've definitely got caught up in that before, and I kind of realized that, like, my self-improvement journey and trying to, you know, break past old ways of thinking and yada, 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 was actually hurting me at a certain point because I wasn't addressing who I was as a different person. Like you said, we're all different snowflakes. We are so vastly different than one another. Mm-hmm. And so to think that who I am now is not good enough constantly.
Right.
And always being like, oh, I need to self-improve. And then not taking the second to be like, appreciate who I am right now in the moment that I am. And see what I've already improved.
Literally.
Can be really toxic if you don't do that.
Right.
And
you have to take that second.
I've definitely gone there before.
You have to take that second to realize.
Just gotta stop a little bit.
Yeah, slow down. Just
allow yourself to just make the mistakes. And don't, like, if you do make a mistake, don't be so hard on yourself. Mm-hmm. Just be like, oh wow, like,
don't rush
that
to
really
fix
like
it.
Showed me something.
If you're rushing to fix it,
yeah, don't rush to fix it.
Exactly.
And because if you rush to fix it, it's coming out of a place of like so much guilt. And fear.
You want to fix it fast because you don't like the mistake.
Yeah.
And like looking at the mistake is hard. Mm-hmm. It sucks. But actually looking at it and like realizing where exactly you went wrong, giving yourself the grace and the love will help you, like analyzing the mistake will help you not make it later.
Just expand yourself a little bit. Like allow yourself to just make those mistakes, you know, just be okay with things because like you're never going to be perfect.
Flex with it.
Yeah.
Flex with it. And just because you made a mistake doesn't define you.
Like make the funny jokes.
Right.
You know, you don't always have to be this perfect person, you know, you can experiment a little bit and you can have fun with life while also, you know, maintaining your morals and self-improvement and positivity that you want to stand by.
Something you taught me is like I used to do this a lot. Like I was almost scared to feel the bad feelings and I wanted to be this person for others that I never wanted to give somebody else a bad feeling. So I wanted to always come with them with like positivity, and it was like
I felt
very
that before
fun
too.
And fast. And I remember it was like you who taught me really, like you can show up however it is you are, and that's good.
Yeah.
And even if it's, you know, sad that day, it's okay. Yeah. Like and doing that, that's human.
Yeah.
As human.
You can just show up as, like, and then people can, you know, you're not responsible for how other people are taking you in.
Exactly.
And you aren't responsible for other people's emotions.
Right.
You're just responsible for your own. So if you want to feel quiet and a little reserved that day, do that. If you want to feel loud and happy and exciting that day, do that.
Yep. Exactly.
You know?
And I think also, too, where positivity tends to turn toxic is when we are doing it for others.
Yeah.
You know, we can do it for others. We want to put up a front. We want to say, I'm okay. Because who doesn't want to be met, like, who wants to be met with, like, I'm not feeling okay.
And I think it turns toxic when you want others to perceive you as a positive person.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's different when, like, somebody's sad and you're like, oh, I have to, like, be there for them to raise their spirits. Like,
it's not like that.
But it's bad when it's like, I have to be perceived as perfect. Right. I have to be perceived as a positive person.
Yeah, and then guilt comes in because you want to fix it so fast. You don't want anyone to see.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's so...
You're so scared that people are going to see your flaws.
Yeah.
You're so scared that people are going to see your flaws. And you're so used to monitoring everybody else's emotions around you. So you're so scared that something wrong is going to happen emotionally in the room. So you have to make sure it stays happy, stays positive.
Yep.
That's definitely something from, like, the childhood.
Oh, definitely.
Because I've been there before.
Definitely from the childhood.
I think I saw a video. It was, like, if you had, like, someone in the home who was more emotional or, you know, even yourself or something, and that happened to you, and you don't want to feel that again. So you're just, you know, you try to keep this happy emotional state around you all the time.
To either help that person.
Yeah, help that person or help yourself stay okay. And when in reality, you just got to get more comfortable with low moments.
Yeah.
You got to be able to stay in low moments.
Exactly.
And it's not so much that you could be like, oh, this sucks. Like, be negative
Yep.
in low moments. You
And,
can
like,
still
expand
be
that.
positive, but positivity can look like, wow, this is really hard, but we can get through it.
Yep.
Like, this is really hard. Like, let's
Literally.
figure it out. I know this, like, this really sucks. Like, you can be positive in low moments, but it doesn't have to be like,
The low moment shouldn't be avoided.
yes,
The low moment needs to be thought through, and hands should be grabbed when you go through it.
Yeah.
You know?
And we should address the low moment and sit in it.
Yep.
And then be able to say, all right, how can we do this?
Yeah.
And be optimistic.
That's true positivity. Toxic positivity says, oh, there's no low moment right now.
But there's nothing wrong.
Yeah.
We're fine. Why are you mad?
We're
Why are you
totally
sad?
okay.
Yeah.
We're totally okay. Everything's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be fine.
Yeah. And that can really, like, shut somebody down.
It can.
You know, because if somebody's
it
really...
cuts it short. Yeah.
You don't give the person an opportunity to feel like their feelings are valid in that low moment.
You're so right.
Because when you're in a low moment, you know, you can't just be like, oh, I'm happy. Thanks for helping me.
There's no way.
You know?
Yeah.
You gotta sit in there a little bit and be like, you know, think about it.
Yeah. Genuinely.
So it's
analyze
good to be that person.
Analyze low moment. Feel the sorrow sometimes.
So true.
You have to feel sad to feel happy.
You sure do.
You have to feel the sorrow to then get to the good moments.
You gotta make mistakes to learn from them.
Exactly.
And
there's a way to learn. There's a way to properly learn, and it should be done with love throughout the whole process.
And the thing about, you know, making mistakes and doing wrong things and being in those low moments is that, like, you don't, like, those don't have a hold on you.
Yeah.
You know, like what we were saying, they can have a hold on you if you let the fear and the shame come in. So say I make a mistake and I'm like, oh, I feel so guilty, and I'm just thinking about it all day and all day. Like, stop condemning yourself.
Right.
You can address something you did wrong or address a low moment that you had, but you're making it worse by packing more guilt and fear and shame on top of it instead of just being like, I'm going to see it for what it is and now I'm going to move on.
Yeah, exactly.
And
you can let it hooks you. It hooks you, and then it carries you along, and then getting that hook out hurts more.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Once you realize, oh, I just, you know, how am I treating myself?
Yeah.
It hurts more. It hurts more. You have more emotional processing to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And the whole time you're just focused on, I need to change, I need to be better, I need to do this.
Yep.
And it's like, bro, you are who you are.
3 months later,
You're going to
it's like,
continue
oh my
to
gosh,
make mistakes.
I'm not sleeping.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, you are who you are. You're going to continue to make mistakes. You're not a perfect person.
Right, exactly. Give yourself
You know,
the grace.
You can learn from it.
Allow the room. Oh, sometimes if you just allow yourself, allowing is such a beautiful thing. Allow
I
it.
agree.
Allow it.
Just allow it.
Let yourself flow. And then I've learned too, like, once I've let myself allow, once I've allowed myself to make mistakes, I've learned that who I am naturally wants to meet those goals anyways, without putting the pressure on myself, without the guilt. Who I am naturally is ready to go there with love.
Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes when I am in those guilt loops, I think, ugh, that person who's so carefree and loving all the time, she has no idea what she's doing.
Yeah.
She has to be a hard rock and needs to be a boss and get her shit together.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not true.
No.
Who you are when you have your heart exploding, still wants to do better, still wants to treat others with love, still is ready to meet those goals. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Without the pressure and the shame and the guilt,
Just
it's
as
just
a
not
regular
needed.
human.
Yeah, exactly.
Just as a regular human. You know, it's not all pretty and glossed up like it is on social media. Like, those people are just people too.
Right. When they go home, they're laying in bed. They're tired.
Yeah.
They're eating silently. You know what I mean? Like, that's how life is, the silent moments and the quiet moments. That teaches something. That there's something in those moments that we need to continue to grab onto and continue to stay in those moments, because that's where we see things.
It's where we learn things.
Yeah, exactly. We rushing all the time and being fast and trying to fix it and looking at all the bad things very, like, too much can be very draining.
Absolutely.
Too much up is too bad. Too much up will bring you down.
So, you know, if you've been struggling with that, just totally lean into who you are, you know, just...
Yeah, like, it's everything that has...
Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing fine.
Right. Exactly. And all the mistakes you made up to here, they're in the past.
Yeah. And you're going to keep making mistakes.
You are.
You're going to keep making mistakes, and you're going to keep messing up.
And those mistakes are okay. Mm-hmm. Those mistakes are okay.
I like that trend on social media where it's like, oh, I missed the gym. I guess I'm not going to go for the rest of the week. You know what I mean? So
no, I don't know
and
those.
It's like, they're like putting on lipstick, and it's like, they mess up the whole lipstick all over the place. Because then it's like,
yeah.
It's like, oh, I messed up my lipstick a little bit. I guess I'm just going to mess up the rest of my face. It's kind of like an analogy to say, like, oh, if I did this wrong, then I guess everything else is wrong. Like, I think we can tend to blow up things like that. Like,
you're right.
I missed the gym this day. That means I can't go to the next day. Like, no, you can get back up on your feet and try again.
Yeah.
And just because I spilled a little bit of water doesn't mean I have to dump the whole cup on the ground.
Right.
You know, it's just a little spill.
Exactly.
Let it be a little spill. Clean up the little spill.
Right.
And keep drinking the water.
Yeah. Make sure you clean up all of it. You know, you got to look at where you're cleaning up first. You know what I mean? You can't just wipe blindly.
Yeah, and don't just be mad that you made a mistake.
Yeah, it's okay.
Hence the spill. Just be like, oh, that happened.
Let me just go grab some paper towels.
Yeah. Just got to get over it like everybody human does.
That's when we're rushing. When we think, oh, everything's ruined. Mm-hmm. We're rushing in that moment. We're not thinking about it.
Who am I right now?
Yeah.
Who am I right now? And how can I love myself right now? And how can I love the other people around me right now?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, how can I love myself right now?
Let myself live in this moment.
How can I love myself right now? I like that.
Instead of just overanalyzing every little thing I do and say to make sure it's the perfect thing to do or say.
Yep.
How can I just be?
Right. Just be.
How can I just be and just allow myself to be? And if I want to do a certain thing or change a certain thing or practice a certain thing, then I will.
I've had moments too where, like, I know I can't start something new because if I do, it's going to be out of guilt. I've had moments where I've like, oh my gosh, my room is so dirty right now. I need to clean it. It's so bad. But I know enough to not. Because if I do, it's not coming from a place of love. And then I'll continue to do that. Mm-hmm. I'll say, oh, I need to eat this certain meal because I feel bad. Mm-hmm. Or I need to go on a run because I feel bad. There was a moment in my life when I was running. Mm-hmm. And anytime I'd run, I'd get a panic attack.
Really?
Because I would force myself to run.
What?
Yep.
You were panicking because of the run?
I think so. Like my heart rate was so high. And then to add the run on top of it. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Because I was like just so worried about the wrong things. So worried about the wrong things.
Yeah. You were not focused on the right thing.
And I've even had, you know, when we're in a slump and you know, if you start to do something because you're guilty, don't do it. Like, even if it's a good thing, mm-hmm. make sure you're going to do it out of love first. You know? I've held off on cleaning my room because I felt like a horrible person.
That's interesting. I personally don't really feel like that.
Yeah.
Out of like things like cleaning my room or getting my homework done.
I've only felt like that when I've come out of like really long slumps, like really long periods of kind of depression. Yeah. And I know if I get up right now, it's a situational moment. Like if I get up right now to do this thing and I'm doing it like out of guilt.
Wow.
But I've also seen people use that analogy as an excuse to not do it. Mm-hmm. You know, to kind of stay in the comfort zone. Yeah. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So,
but
you gotta know yourself.
Good that you share that because, you know, if I wouldn't have ever, I don't necessarily get that much guilt out of like things like that, but I'm sure other people definitely do.
Right.
And I think it's good to share that. It's a
slippery slope sometimes.
For sure.
Because we can, you know, the hole's comfortable.
You just gotta listen to yourself.
Yeah, you gotta know yourself, be honest, be real.
Because everyone's different.
Yeah, and come from a place of love. Mm-hmm. You know, a father can be loving but still disciplined. Yeah. You know, a father, you know, and typically the discipline comes out of love. Yeah. So, and when it becomes bad is when it comes from shame and guilt, you know?
Yeah.
So it's important to
For sure.
Make sure that we're getting up out of love for ourselves and not because we feel like we you know, it's what we should be doing because of the last couple days or the last couple mistakes.
Yep. Absolutely. I definitely feel the guilt or shame or condemnation.
Yeah, condemnation.
Yeah.
Condemnation.
Probably from the things I speak and more so than the things I do, I would say.
Okay, wow.
I feel like, you know, if I'm around people, like what you said, like you either have to like, you know, keep the room uplifted or say the right things or, you know, if I say the wrong thing, I just feel like I've genuinely felt like if I say the wrong things, like the people in the room won't like me. Or like, I'm a bad person.
Right.
Or, oh, I'm not as kind as I wanted to be in my head. But really, that's just all me being so hard on myself and overanalyzing what I'm saying to other people. And I'm really just scared of what people are perceiving of me.
Yeah, there's that outside thought again.
Yeah.
The outside rushing fast thought.
Exactly. And it's like, you know, I know I'm a nice person. I know I'm this and that.
Yeah.
And why am I so scared to be mean when I know I'm nice? It's like,
exactly.
You know what I mean?
It's this other, like, voice that comes into your head and says, I'm
like
fat.
The overthinking, yeah.
I'm this. I'm bratty. I'm complaining.
Yeah.
That's not true. You have to, like...
Exactly. That's exactly what I think.
I've caught myself, too, with those thoughts and been like, whoa.
Yeah.
I really genuinely think I'm mean right now. Yeah. I think I'm a bully.
I felt that too.
There's a lyric in the recent Kendrick Lamar album, and he's like, you feel like you got a chip on your shoulder. And I was like, wow. And I don't think the lyrics made sense to me until right now, this conversation. Because it's like you feel like you're a bad person.
Yeah.
I know it's kind of confusing, but like...
No, I totally... But then it's because nobody else is thinking that. That's the thing.
Yeah. You're putting yourself in a third point of view. Like, you're trying to see yourself from others' point of views. And that's not what you want to do.
That's what my problem is.
Yeah. No, I do that too, but with my actions and my lifestyle. And it's not good. Because... What works for somebody else is not going to work for me. What somebody else is going to say is not going to what you need to say. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I think I felt that too before, but every time I, like, you know, do the thing that I'm like, oh, I should be doing this, it does make me feel better most of the time.
Yeah.
But
no, exactly.
I think I know what you mean by like the other.
So there's a difference when it comes with words and like actions.
Yeah, so
actions
like maybe certain things are more triggering to you.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
So I think it's good to know yourself. Like what is something that you're you know being really hard on yourself for.
Right.
That's just making you feel more bad.
Yeah, exactly.
When you do it, you know.
Yeah. I think our nachos are done. My dad just called up to us.